Ethan without a crystal ball. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have you here because we're going to talk about Welcome to Plathville. Welcome to Plathville is going to be coming back to TLC for the second season, and we will be jumping back into the story of the Plaths, a family of, I don't know, 10, 11 kids, 10, a lot of kids, and their divided family. Now, when Welcome to Plathville came onto the scene, it was the Plaths. They lived on a farm. The kids had never had Coke. They didn't eat sugar. They didn't watch TV. They played outside. They weren't really with the world, which led to some funny gaffes of the kids, you know, trying soda for the first time, eating ice cream when mom and dad weren't around. And it also created quite the rift between Ethan, the oldest son, and his wife, Olivia, and mom and dad. Olivia Plath, who is married to Ethan, came into the family, obviously, when they got married, and she and Ethan have an interesting relationship because they're both sort of leaving that fundamental background and they are branching out into the real world. Olivia has helped Ethan have a lot of firsts, like drinking Coke and having some beer and trying to be in life. Now, one of the things that happened at the end of last season was people were upset with her because Olivia seemed to interfere in Mariah's relationship with her parents. So Mariah, who is on the show at the time, 16 years old, now 17, probably almost 18 at this point, she was struggling to fit into the family, wanting to leave the farm, not feeling like because she was a normal kid that she was wrong. Mom and dad didn't like the clothes that she wore and they didn't like the makeup that she wore, and she was constantly called like the weird child. Obviously, there was a lot of tension at the end of the season because Olivia bought a plane ticket and Kim acted like she didn't know about it. Olivia blamed editing and said that everyone knew about it. She would never go behind Kim's back. But obviously that sort of shifted the tides where people started looking at Olivia as the villain of the show and not Kim. In reality, what you saw were two women with very strong opinions and also one woman, Olivia, learning how to find her voice after growing up in a very patriarchal world. Welcome to Plathville is coming back November 10th, and we're going to pick up the season with a divided three houses. Micah and Mariah have moved out and they live together. There is also Ethan and Olivia, who are living separately and don't have a relationship with the family. And then you've got Kim and the kids and her husband. So recently, Olivia, her Instagram celebrated 100,000 followers. Olivia is been kind of prickly with fans, and after watching this Instagram live, I'm getting a better understanding of the fact of why she is the way she is, feeling as though she has never had a voice her whole life, feeling as though she can't trust anyone, feeling as though she grew up with a father that controlled everything, a mother that was very unhappy about the control that she lived under, and now having a voice, wanting to use it, but also not trusting people, and then being thrust from that world into fame, which now she doesn't feel like she can trust anyone. She opened up about some of her very, very personal things that she's gone through over the last year, dealing with the fame, dealing with the criticism, dealing with the negativity, dealing with people feeling like she's controlling, dealing with people feeling like Ethan is sort of railroaded by her. And during the live stream that they did on Instagram, it was interesting because I kind of felt like a lot of the time she was focused a lot on the negative comments, which I get it. It's so hard. But there was a point in the live where she talked about marriage, because there's been a lot of speculation about whether or not these two are married, if they're getting divorced. And so what happened was someone said, "Do you guys ever regret being married?" Ethan.
Do you guys ever get tired of each other to the point where you regret marriage?
I never get tired of you to the point I regret marrying you.
I wouldn't lie if I were you.
That is not a lie.
You do get tired of me.
Sometimes I do get tired of you, but never to the point that I regret marrying you.
I wish I could say the same for you. But if I'm going to be completely honest, I'm human. Sometimes I do regret it. But then, I obviously get over it.
I hope.
How could you not? All right, Cupcake.
Ethan, for his part, says, absolutely not. I don't regret it, not one bit. And she says, if I'm being completely honest, yes. And then and then she says, but, then I look at him and everything is fine. So that they moved on to the next question, was met with a little bit of backlash, and then she came back on Instagram.
One other thing I wanted to clarify was that there was a question somebody asked. Do you remember the exact question?
Something along the lines of regretting getting married.
Something along the lines of, did we regret getting married? Probably just because of everything that's happened since then with the family circumstances and everything. And at the time, I was trying to articulate my thoughts, and I was also trying to answer quickly and move on, and I did not articulate my thoughts well. And how people took it was that I regretted marrying Ethan. And what I meant was, we all have days where we're just kind of like, oh my gosh, why did I get married? This is so hard. And especially with everything we've gone through, I wish that the timing and the circumstances were different, but I don't have any regrets marrying Ethan. So, I love you.
I love you.
So, I just wanted to clarify that, since I saw a couple of people talking about it. Yeah.
Another thing they talked about was that they're not allowed to have any relationship with Ethan's siblings. So apparently, Kim and Barry Plath refuse to let them see the kids unless they go to counseling. Now, Olivia, during the live stream, talked quite a bit about how she's in therapy. She's learning more about boundaries. They're both learning how to have a voice. They're both learning how to set boundaries around them. There was even a discussion about, can you have too many boundaries? And Ethan told Olivia that sometimes you have to let some people in. So it seems as though Olivia is at a place where she's feeling very closed off. Ethan's trying to help her around it. There was times during the live where I felt like it was a very intimate conversation that I probably shouldn't be a part of. But it was an interesting lens into their relationship to see how much the two of them sort of help each other. So during that time, Ethan shared this.
It was last left as, if we ever were going to see my family again, it would have to be with my parents and get all the issues resolved before I could see my siblings.
Yeah, we'd have to go to therapy. We'd have to go to counseling with their pastor before we were allowed to see kids.
Yeah.
And he said that, they're not allowed to see each other unless they're with a counselor. And I was like, with the pastor of the church. And I was like, wow. So this relationship with the parents has disintegrated so much that they're at this place now where they don't have a relationship with his parents. And perhaps the most interesting thing beyond the fact that they don't have a relationship was really Ethan talking about how it was his choice. He didn't want to have a relationship with them. They want to move. They don't want to be stuck in this very toxic place where they don't have the ability to share how they're feeling. They can't be who they are. They aren't accepted. So it's very clear that the fundamentalism that they grew up in is at war between their lives now versus the lives in which they left. And Kim's not desire to have, the children at all influenced by their new belief system. And then, the two of them kind of navigating and circumventing all of these issues. And I really felt for Olivia dealing with the magnitude of everything she's gone through in the past year. I mean, obviously it's a lot for anyone. And it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. They briefly talked about Mariah and how they lived with her, and now she's living somewhere else. And we'll be able to see sort of how this all unfolds. But the fact that she at one point said she regretted it and then she backtracked, and there was just so many times where it feels like the communication was tense but loving but confused. So I don't know that there's any clear picture in terms of like what will happen in the future. Are they under a lot of stress? Very clearly. Do they love each other? Very clearly. Otherwise, we're just going to have to see how it all plays out. You can check out both of these streams. She did 2 separate ones. She was new to Instagram, never done a live before. So you'll have to see 2 separate streams, but you'll be able to see everything on her Instagram and get a better feel for everything she's gone through, which was very telling. So what are your thoughts about all of this? Are you surprised? Are you not surprised? Leave me some comments below. Bye, guys.